And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. You know, if it's Thursday, it's all about Inspiration Thursday. And if you know someone who is suffering from cancer, if you know someone who has died from cancer, there is life after cancer. There are survivors. There are good news stories. But you just have to have the right mindset. Like Mary Thua here, who at the age of 29 was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Since then, some good 15 years, she's been living with a colostomy bag. She's part of the groups that go around talking to people about this disease and how you can combat it. Mary Thua.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you.
So you were 29 years old?
Yeah, I was 29 years old.
What made you go to the doctor? You know, obviously you had been before, but what made you go that time and say, hey, listen, I think we have a problem here?
Yeah, so the blood in the stool had become much, and I was scared. So I went to the doctor, and he said it was piles. It wasn't something serious. So he said I would go for a minor operation, and after 3 days I would be okay. So I did that. And after the operation, a week after, I was all right. I went back home. Little did I know that whatever he removed, he became suspicious, and he took it to a pathologist who found that it was cancer.
And how long had you been living with it?
Well, I'd noticed the blood for about a whole year.
A year?
Yeah, but it wasn't much, but it went on becoming much.
David Makumi is still with us from the Aga Khan Hospital. David, is that common?
Very common, especially for colorectal cancers. A lot of patients who present with constipation and or blood in the stools, which sometimes people ignore, for 6 months, a year. Or they present to hospital and they get treated for typhoid. Lots of stories you hear from, especially from the rural areas. They were being treated for typhoid. They thought it's just a bad tummy or something they ate. So by the time someone does a biopsy, probably the whole system is blocked, and they are presenting actually as an emergency.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick. What quantity of blood are we talking about in the stool? I mean,
it may not be like alarming quantities. It may just little drops in the stools.
Okay.
It may not even be every day.
So you have to check your stool all the time?
Yeah.
Well, if you see...
I never check my stool.
Well, you should.
Good idea to just give it a quick look, just before you flush.
Yeah.
A glance.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if it's a passing glance.
Okay, so Mary, I'm sorry, I'm making fun, but it's a serious topic. So how did you, okay, when you got the news, how did you feel?
It wasn't told to me, it was told to my sister. So she didn't know how to break the news. She called the pastor, who came and preached, and I was wondering, what are they doing? And then now they came to the point and told me that I have cancer.
And
I had to go back immediately because it was touched and it spreads easily. So I had to go back immediately for a major operation.
I mean, obviously, you must have been devastated. You must have...
I was. But I didn't know that I would end up with a colostomy. So I thought it was just another operation that will be done and I'll go back home and live normally.
How soon after did they put that bag?
Immediately after the operation. Just immediately after that. I went to the theater, I came out.
You had a bag?
Yeah, I had a bag.
And you've had a bag since?
I've had the bag since the operation.
15 plus years?
Yeah.
What's it like? I mean, what's it like for someone who has no clue?
It's not easy. I begged God. I told God, I'll do anything. Please, just take this away. Yeah, and then I realized, and I've come to understand the thorn in Paul's flesh, the one he talked about in the Bible, that he pleaded with God to take it away. And God said, my grace is sufficient. And by now, I've realized what he meant, because God's grace has been sufficient for me. It's not easy when you're passing stool through your tummy, and you're always afraid, is the smell, are people smelling it? You're afraid that the bag can burst anywhere in the car or anywhere. So you're always afraid.
And David, this is common, isn't it? I mean, it must be a scary feeling. You're in a matatu, you're in a bus, you're in a public place, and that bag could pop.
I know a lady actually who told us, in one of the support group meetings, she was actually thrown out of a matatu.
Yeah.
They traced the smell to her and just told her, Mama,
Shuka,
we're not going with you. kama umejiharia, you know,
yes,
demeaning. And it's important that we appreciate that cancer patients do go through a lot. You know, an adult, you know, the bag had burst, and I think she wasn't using an appropriate bag, because you must have the appropriate bag.
Yeah.
A lot of our people are using all sorts of papers, you know. They use the supermarket paper bags, the polythene papers that don't stick on the skin. So what happens, you know, it just comes loose, it pours, it's a mess. There are patients who have quit jobs.
Yeah.
Quit jobs because they're not sure how they can manage a bag and manage a job. Families have been broken.
Yeah.
Literally, you know, a man or a woman will walk out on the other.
I was going to get to that. And Mary, I'm sorry to ask you this question. You know, you're a beautiful woman. Are you dating? Are you married? Do you have children?
No, I don't have children. And I'm not in a relationship. That is by choice.
Is it by choice, or are you embarrassed sometimes? I mean, if it gets to that moment, you know, the bag will be in the way.
Yeah, that too. That too.
So you have to live the rest of your life like this?
Yeah.
Has anybody in your family ever suffered from cancer? Is this like a hereditary thing?
No.
Nobody that you
nobody
know?
in my family.
No grandparents or uncles, aunts?
No, none. They've had
Just
diabetes, they've had these other diseases, but don't
So
cancer.
it's just you?
Yeah, just me.
So when you were asking God that you do anything, were you also asking him, hey, why me?
Why? But then I wouldn't want it to be on anybody else. Yeah. But you ask these questions, and it's not easy. Yeah.
David, when they come to you in these support groups, are they broken people? Are they on the verge of death or suicide or giving up?
Lots of them are in various stages of acceptance or denial, but there are lots of patients who will come and find others, probably who have been through more worse situations, you know, and Mary actually just did point out, you know, she went to theater, she wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah.
She just came out from theater and found she has a bag, she has to leave, nobody told me I'll have this for life. The patients like that. But the good news is these days with these support networks, actually a lot of our surgeons now are involving people like Mary.
Yeah.
That even going for that type of surgery, Mary will come and show me her bag, tell me how she manages, and by the time I'm going into theater, you know, I have an idea of what will happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a few patients still go to theater and come out with a bag and they have no clue, absolutely.
What's the average lifespan of a bag, Mary? I mean, how long does...
You can use 2 or 3 per day.
Per day?
Yeah, one will cost about 700 shillings.
One bag?
One bag.
So you're using 2,000 shillings plus a day?
That's the tragedy that we have. These bags are not tax exempt. So, and the patients who have had this type of surgery, you know, we think they have had their radiotherapy and chemotherapy and it's over. For them, it's not. They are living with a bag, and every time they do poo-poo, they may be able to manage some bags may be kind of reusable. But they also get diarrhea like all of us, and they may need to even change the bag 3 times.
In a day?
In a day. Anything from 250 to 700 shillings. These are not bags you walk to a government hospital and get for free. You know, people are making a kill, you know, from patients. You know, selling these bags.
Have these sessions helped Mary, meeting other people, other survivors? Has that helped you?
Very much. When the operation was done, I didn't know anybody else with a colostomy. I didn't even know anything like this. And I've stayed for about 10 years before meeting another person who had. And it is through David. I went to Aga Khan, and I go to Nairobi Pentecostal Church, Valley Road, and we have a visitation ministry whereby we go to the hospital and visit the sick. And I was sharing my story, and David heard me. And then David said, come, I'll show you others who are like you.
Yeah.
And we started a support group in Aga Khan. And that is where I met others like me.
Men as well, not just women?
Men as well.
Lots of men, young, old. I think we have like 200 plus now.
Yeah.
And with colostomy bags?
Yes. And we have lots of other patients around the country who use this. Actually, one of the things that we're doing during a cancer event on Saturday is to get all survivors on the track to celebrate survivorship.
Go on, tell me about this Saturday event.
Yes, Global Relay for Life, coming to Kenya for the very first time and only the third time in Africa. It is an extraordinary cancer extravaganza that's 24 hours non-stop.
What, running?
Walking. You can walk, you can jog.
Where?
At the Nyayo Stadium, on the track, this Saturday. You know, on the athletic track.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Just walk or jog, but the idea is to have a mass of humanity.
Yeah.
Walking around the track
for 24 hours, non-stop. You can come, you're welcome to come actually do a lap.
Yeah, please.
Just walk. Because cancer does not sleep. That's the message.
Yeah.
When you and I are asleep at 3 a.m., there's a patient who got chemotherapy today who is throwing up. There's a mother who's got a little baby who got a radiotherapy who is sitting up wondering why baby is not sleeping because the baby has cancer. There's a mom somewhere at 2 a.m. in the morning thinking about where will I get money for the next chemotherapy. And for these ones, we want Kenyans to come, stand in solidarity with survivors, non-stop for 24 hours, just reflecting on what they go through.
What time does it start?
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Saturday.
Saturday the 14th.
Yes,
yeah.
to 2 p.m. the following day.
Fantastic.
By the time we are done, the 24 hours, we'll have lost 78 Kenyans. 110 we have been told you have cancer. We want to change these conversations. Ordinary citizens, volunteers, just saying we need to do something. We know the government is doing a lot. Actually, the cabinet secretary has been very, very supportive of the cancer cause. But as citizens, we need to rise up.
Absolutely.
Keep a sponsored someone on the track, raise money, and hopefully manage to treat at least 30 patients from every county. It's 20 adults, 10 kids from every county.
Yeah. When we come back, David, I want to talk about the private sector and why it has been so unwilling to jump into this. Why has the private sector been so unwilling? Mary, we have about a minute and a half to go. No, don't go. I want you to have the last word before we go to commercial break.
Okay.
Tell somebody out there who's suffering from cancer, who's just realized, been diagnosed, and are on the verge of giving up. They don't know what to do, where to turn. What do you tell them?
I just want to tell them not to give up. My operation was done here in Kenyatta, so we have good doctors in this country. And there's hope. You just have to accept and to move on. It's been 14 years, and I love my life. I just love it. So there's hope for all of us. Yeah.
You love your life.
I do. I do.
You don't question God anymore.
Not anymore.
You know the reason why you're here.
Yeah, yeah. I do.
Mary Thuo, thanks so much for coming to tell us your story.
Thank you for having me.
Don't move. My goodness, what a story. Stories of survival from this horrific disease, folks. You may know someone who's suffering right now. Mary has been through it for the last 15 years with a colostomy bag. Folks, there's no such thing as embarrassment here. It's all about fighting the fight and defeating this disease. When we come back, a young man, 27 years old, and 13 years ago, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. He missed his entire childhood, folks, trying to battle this disease. Let's catch up with Danabura when we come back. In the meantime, keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Danabura, and at Relay for Life. This weekend, don't forget, Nyayo Stadium, 2 p.m. Walk, walk, and walk.
Homework.
Yeah.
And
So it was
I
a cool
loved it.
thing.
Yeah, for me it was a cool thing.
Okay, so a year later you're told you have cancer.
Now when I was going to do my chemotherapy.
Oh.
This is after my radiotherapy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you lost your hair?
Yes. I lost weight. Appetite. It got to a point in which my meals were just pills. Like I wake up in the morning, a source of pills. Lunchtime, a source of pills. When I go to bed, a source of pills. And I got used to it in a way, but after my third chemo is now when I couldn't take it anymore because I couldn't even sit up. I couldn't, I would go to school, but it got to a point in which in a month, I could say I'd have a week of school, and that's it. I couldn't handle it.
That must have been tough.
It was. It was. But look at it. I had that, and I was in the same platform as, you know, any other kid. And I still went to school to do my exams. I still went to high school, and I finished. And I went to college. So...
But you missed the fun in those years, if you will, right? The sports, the extracurricular.
Yeah.
You're right? You must have missed that.
Yeah, I did. I missed a huge chunk of my life. That's why you'll find me, like right now, I'm out there. Socializing, meeting new people, just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Because I know what it feels to be in bed the whole day. I know how it feels to be close to death. So you see me smiling about it on social media, I know why. Because I've been there and I know how it feels.
Do you have friends of your age, your generation, who have suffered Hodgkin's or other cancers?
Yes, I had a friend. I lost a friend 2 years ago to leukemia. It was, for him, he couldn't actually see. When he started his treatment, he couldn't actually see it. But after he went into hospital, just to see him in his deathbed, same age as me. And he actually passed, he went when I was just looking at him, just like that.
My goodness.
Yeah.
David, Hodgkin's, you said it's one of the most treatable.
It's a very treatable cancer.
Yeah.
It's among the top 10 cancers we have in this country. I mean, affects kids, affects adults, men and women in equal measure. Again, it's a question of it being diagnosed in a timely manner and getting appropriate treatments. I mean, lots of, he was here in Nairobi, but then he could have been in Sambweni, could have been anywhere. And, you know, people may go round and round trying to figure out what is going on. There is a type of lymphoma, because there are different types of lymphoma. It's called Burkitt's lymphoma. That's common in kids. And there is a lot of work happening in Western Kenya in terms of tracing cases and documenting them, because it's a type of cancer that's sort of common in some tropical areas. And these kids do get treatment, get to become young adults, become men and women of value to us.
And David, you're completely free from this cancer?
Yeah, it's been 13 years now. I still go for my annual checkups, but now I've brought it to like a monthly thing. So I just do my full physical, and I have nothing.
But, okay, you brought it down to a monthly. Does that mean you worry at the back of your mind that this thing could come back one day?
Yes, I am. And basically, you look at it in terms of the lifestyle we're living right now. We're living, like, as a generation. Leave alone the food. Look at the phones, the exposure to, you know, radiation and all. Yes, it's worrying to me. And for me, I have to bring it, you know, to on a monthly basis. Yep.
What do you tell people your age, David? What do you Dan? What do you tell them about what you went through?
It was difficult. It was really, really difficult, and it was a moment in which, for me, I didn't need anyone to, you know, feel pity for me. Even right now, the reason why I'm actually talking about it is because, you know, David actually put me on the spot. If you look at it in terms of, yes, you're actually diagnosed with it, it's more or less of like a battle of the mind. So it's more or less of like, I have this saying of, us cancer survivors and anyone who has cancer, we don't need hugs, we need more shrugs. You know, just push us.
Are there people watching you for the first time and didn't know you had cancer back then? Are there?
Yeah, there's so many people.
Yeah.
I know, like my Twitter is like really crazy right now.
Really? Dan Obura is going nuts. They probably say, what? This guy had cancer? I didn't know. Right? That's what they're probably saying, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And they don't have to. I mean, that's behind him.
Sure.
I mean, he's living like each one of us. I mean, we are not to treat anyone differently. They're productive. He's using his story to inspire others who are behind the process, to inspire parents, especially, who have kids who have cancer. They go through a very tough time, and we tend to often forget. Some parents have kids as young as 2 years, a year, who have cancer. You know, they just need to sit down and know, you know what, even my kid will go through treatment and become a useful member of the society.
Were your folks scared to death? I mean, obviously, there must have been.
Yeah. Basically, everyone who was around me was scared.
Your siblings? Yeah.
Because me being there in bed and having my, you know, chemo going on, because I had my own symptoms, apart from, like, you know, losing weight and all. And just because I have pictures of me when I was in hospital, and I go through them and I'm like, wow, this is how I look like, and this is what I am now. So it's challenging, yes, but it's very it makes your mind more or less of like open to life, and how you actually see people and how you actually interact with people on a daily basis. Yeah.
So when you see your fellow generation hating on social media about such ridiculous things, I mean, they don't know. Life is short, isn't it?
It is short, because at times people actually make jokes about cancer, and you go through the comment and go like, ha ha ha, as you just brush it off, because you don't want, because I look at it in terms of maybe they don't understand the whole idea of going through chemotherapy and struggling with your social life
and the pain. David, I mean, it's true. I mean, there's some really ignorant human beings out there who will do anything to put anyone down. And the worst part is, if they're suffering from a disease like cancer, what is it about us?
There's something, horrible about human beings. There's also something very wonderful about, we have different faces. There are patients who are actually rejected by family, literally thrown out, literally. Like they're draining the family resources. I've met women who've been thrown out of relationships. I've met men whose wives walked away because they had cancer. I have met men who've lost their jobs. I've met women who are struggling to hold on to a job. Write a letter to my employer, tell them this. I've met people crying because the insurance premiums are up, or they just are told that we can't cover this. It's an it's an exemption. We can't cover cancer. You listen to those sort of stories. People coming to an end because either insurance, literally the whole society does not seem to listen, and even their leaders. The only time they mention cancer is when they are talking about the cancer of corruption. And we just say that so easily that for people who have faced cancer. For those of us who work with cancer patients, it's a statement we sort of get a bit of chill from. Because if you got a diagnosis of cancer today and someone is on TV talking about the cancer of this, that, and the other, it can be very traumatizing. They have no clue what these patients go through.
I asked Mary this question earlier on. I'll ask you, are you dating?
That's an interesting question. No.
You're not?
No, as in currently?
Yes.
No, currently no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you do plan to get married. Mary says she's not going to get married, but we don't know.
I'm getting married. I don't know.
What if you have a child who, God forbid, ends up having Hodgkin's lymphoma?
This is my whole idea. This is life. Things happen. So if it happens, there's basically, like, I'm on insurance right now. I definitely have them on insurance, even before, she gives back.
And also, you will be in a better position to inform that child too, right? Because you have gone through it, right? In a way. Does that happen?
There are people like that. I met a lady about 2-3 weeks ago that, she's got cancer, and her mom also has cancer. Those things do happen. Not all cancers run in families, a very small percentage, but we do have occasional cases where, someone has some types of, especially breast cancer, and some types of colorectal cancer. Yes, but a small percentage.
But there are some people who actually survived from cancer for decades, aren't they?
There are lots of people out here treated in this country, 20 years, 30 years, and counting.
And they are living testimony.
Yes. Cancer is something that happened so long ago. 30 years, we didn't even have the kind of infrastructure we have. They got treated here, and cancer is behind them. So.
Speaking of infrastructure, Dan, a lot of people these days are going to India. India's like the new, new Nairobi, wherever, new whatever place where people go to get treated. Did your folks think about that? Did they consider taking you to India?
Actually, my treatment was done locally.
Everything?
Everything. My chemo, my radiotherapy, I had a bone marrow procedure. And yes, you can find the technology, that's one, to treat the specific cancers like mine within the country. And what I'd advise is healthcare. When it comes to healthcare healthcare is expensive. So when you look at private insurance and what actually the government is now offering, this is in terms of healthcare, I'd advise, like even my peers, take it up, because you never know. Bed nights in hospitals are they're expensive.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely.
They're expensive.
David, why are people going to India more and more? Is it cheaper than Kenya? Is it better technology, better doctors?
No, better doctor. We have good doctors in this country. We have cutting-edge technology in this country. We may not have everything there is to have, but we have enough to treat majority of the cancers that people are going to India for. I mean, India has its place, and not every patient will necessarily benefit. Our people here in this country, I mean, the private sector, for example, has invested millions of shillings in cancer infrastructure. The government is putting money in cancer infrastructure. Kenyatta is actually building a new bunker for that. But even as it is now, good cancer treatment is available here.
But at a price.
In this country.
At a price.
At a price. India, of course, has its advantage because, they manufacture a lot of those drugs. They are made a lot of those chemotherapy drugs. Very good drugs and some very questionable, but they have good dawas in India.
Yeah.
Cheap ones, made there, much cheaper.
Okay.
But in this country, which we import all the chemotherapy, most of these drugs are currently not being stocked by the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, at the moment. That's, we hope, will change.
So they have to be imported? They're
imported, but then patients have, or institutions have to buy. The thing is, if these drugs were being availed in bulk, say through the KEMSA, the supplies agency, they would be much more cheaper.
Yeah. Real quick, today's budget by Finance CS Rotich, he talked about 3 billion being assigned for leasing equipment for cancer. Is that welcoming for the community?
Yeah, it's certainly welcome news, but then we need to just also look at the situation that we are in, because some of the equipment, diagnostics and all that, we need that, because we need good diagnosis to know this is cancer and other such things. But things like radiotherapy, for example, it's unlikely that we would lease that, because we need to build specific bunkers within specific specifications. Yeah. And we probably don't need radiotherapy machines in every county.
Absolutely.
It's not practical.
You have something on your lap there you've been holding for a while, David. What is that?
Yes.
Relay for Life.
Relay for Life.
Kenya Cancer Association.
Just mentioned it. Citizens' response to the cancer problem. This event happens in more than 25 countries around the world, and it's happening in our country for the very first time. Nyayo Stadium this Saturday, 2 p.m., ending Sunday, 2 p.m., non-stop.
Non-stop.
Cancer does not sleep. We have special T-shirts for Mashuja. He's one of the Mashuja. He's a Shuja.
I'll be there. So
I'll be there. How many laps are you going to do, Dan? Is that my T-shirt?
Yes, this is yours.
Can I wear this?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
All right. I'll try and show up, okay?
Yes, please
I don't...
Just come do a lap.
Yeah.
In solidarity with cancer survivors.
Really?
I have a little pin for you as well.
This is beautiful, okay.
This is a blue one. This represents colorectal cancer.
Yeah. It's colorectal cancer.
Every cancer has its own color.
Yeah.
All right.
We know the pink one because it's associated with breast cancer.
Yeah.
But I mean, most cancers have different colors and different months that we remember.
Right.
But the event on Saturday, we are celebrating all cancer survivors from all types of cancer. But we also have an opportunity to remember those we have lost. Actually, we have a special candle lighting ceremony at 7:30 in the evening on Saturday. Every Kenyan who has lost someone to cancer, and even if you haven't, there are 78 of us who die every day. Yeah. We need to stop and remember them. We light a candle, spend a moment of silence, and know we have lost leaders, we have lost citizens, we have lost even Kenyans, perhaps who are faceless. We don't know them, but we have lost them. Yeah. We need our leaders this weekend to put a pause button on politics and come and do a walk with the survivors. Just pop in, Mr. Senator, Mr. Governor, Mr. Member of Parliament, MCA, whoever you are, a leader. Get there, just come and do just one lap and say, yes, we know you guys are there. Cancer is expensive. The government is trying to do something, but citizens are also leading the way in raising funds for cancer.
Have you been talking about it on social media, Dan? About the Saturday relay?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I have. The hashtag is a relay for
Life
KE. That's the hashtag. That's where we've been actually sharing the whole week. So any queries you have, this is in terms of cancer awareness, you can tag at relay for the number Life KE, and they will respond to you. I will respond to you. He will respond to you.
Good.
Yeah.
There's a tweet here from Philip Ogola, and I've been asked to tweet a lot of times out there. He says, ask Daktari to debunk the myth that shisha smoking compared to cigarettes is safer. True or false?
It's not. Tobacco is tobacco. Any name. It may be posh, vanilla flavored or orange flavor or whatever, you know, but the bottom line is to get some nicotine into your system. So it's not. So whether you smoke it or sniff it or vaporize it, it's still nicotine.
Cigars?
It's still tobacco. Bottom line, we're talking tobacco. Whether it's grandma in the village sniffing it, whether she's eating it, wherever, tobacco is responsible for majority of head and neck cancers, lung cancers. Actually, we dare say that actually tobacco industry is the only one that kills its customers.
Is that right? Benji K says, very strong topic on cancer tonight. I lost my dad last year on this.
That's my... We were in high school.
You know Benji?
Yeah.
Oh, right. He says, and this issue touches me to the bone.
Yes. It touches every single Kenyan. Tell you what, 10 years ago when we started cancer advocacy, I would go to a church and speak and ask, anyone knows anyone who has cancer? And people would look at each other. Today, you ask that, all hands go up. You know, I lost a neighbor, relative, friends. The pastors tell you they are burying people left, right, center. And that's what we're asking them. You pastors, you need to come to Nyayo Stadium because you're also losing congregations.
Absolutely.
You know, when you look at 78 Kenyans every day, 28,000 every year, by the time we are going to elections, I mean, those are very, very
That's
many.
a lot of people. Dan, you get the last word. Look into that camera over there. Talk to your people, your generation out there. They have no clue. What'd you tell them?
One thing, know your body. Do not take it for granted. Visit a hospital. Just basically your regular checkup. You never know what you'll find out. Don't be scared. Just deal with the fact and walk on. This is basically life. And Saturday, I'll be on the track, me and David Makumi, 24 hours. Come join us, come support us as we fight this deadly disease. And I'm sure we will, we will make something out of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, man. Keep fighting and keep talking.
I will.
David Makumi.
Been a pleasure.
You're a godsend.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you do.
Been a pleasure just
keep doing what you
about
do.
Cancer right here.
It's fantastic. This Saturday, as Dan said, Nyayo Stadium, 2 p.m. till 2 p.m. Sunday. Do 1 lap, do 10 laps. Just walk to fight this deadly disease, folks. And just remember, once again, we can't say this enough. 78 people will have died tonight from this disease. Think about it. If you know of anyone, if you want to talk about it, if you're too scared to talk about it, you're too far from Nairobi to talk about it, get in touch with Relay for Life Kenya. They will guide you. It's a start, and that's what it's all about. Thanks so much for joining us here on JKL All this week. Next week, new topic, new guests. Same time, same place. That only happens right here on Kenya's television network, KTN. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the World Cup. Good night. Good luck. Argentina. Messi. Messi's the man.
World Cup screens
at the Nyayo Stadium. Fantastic. You won't miss. You can walk as you watch.